Hello, this is Ronnie coming to you live tonight to bring you a quick tip on targeting Facebook. So basically, you're running ads and you're trying to figure out how to target on Facebook. So I wanted to talk to you about or show you something that worked for me on a print on demand campaign that I used, the targeting that worked. Now, what I'm going to show you I wouldn't say is the best way for you, or it's the best way or the right way, and everyone else's is wrong. It's just one of the many ways that you can use targeting on Facebook, how you can target your audience when you run a Facebook ad. And so I just want to make that clear because what you want to make sure is to find something that works for you, what gets you the best results. But I want to take the time and show you what personally worked for me. And, I'll share my screen and show you exactly the targeting that helped me on one of my campaigns. All right. Well, actually, I think it was like two or three that worked. So let me see. I am going to share my screen. All right. Let's see. Let's share. Let's get rid of that. Hide that. And let's go here. All right. So we're actually in Facebook in the ads manager, right? So I'm not going to go through the process of objective conversions, but we are going to talk about audience. Audience is basically audience is what I'm going to talk about this evening. And the example that I'm going to use, like I said, is a print on demand campaign, or I think two or three campaigns that I use related to chefs. And so as you can see, it is a saved audience. I actually saved the audience because I used it several times. And I labeled it as Chef Dad Schools because this was, I'll tell you guys, this was a campaign that I used, or I would say several campaigns that I used around Mother's Day and Father's Day. And so one of the audience, what I did is I'll click on edit so you can see exactly what you'll see when you go into clicking on audience. So what I wanted to do, I had to do some research beforehand. I looked on Google, Bing, whatever it was, or you have a research tool. What I did is I wanted to zero in on chefs specifically, not anyone that just had interest in chefs, not someone like me. I like chefs, but I necessarily was not interested in purchasing something that was for a chef. So what I did is, like I said, I did research, and one area that I thought was good was looking at schools that chefs attended or chefs would only be interested in, right? If you look at my screen, there are several different schools. And to be honest, I wouldn't even know these. I'm not a chef. And not to say all chefs know this, but at least the chefs that have an interest in this is more than likely that they are chefs, right? Or they're striving to be a chef. So basically, when I did the targeting, you're wondering, why do I have so many in here? If you can see, there's like some of these schools, there's only like 3,000 people in there. And so my personal suggestion for myself, what I decided was I'm going to put them all in one target audience. Now, when you run a campaign, depending on what you're doing, like I said, this is only one strategy. This is only one out of many ways that you can run Facebook ads. That a lot of times when you have a large audience, I just want to make a note that you may want to set up a campaign for each interest, all right? But this, what I'm showing you, is what I learned first and what worked for me, which is called laser targeting. And what I did is I just concentrated on, the schools, you know, um, the schools. And actually what you can do is, if this was a large enough audience, you could take, I would say, a larger piece of it. I'm not going to show it. Like this has like 259,000. Now you may want to find a school, and this probably wouldn't work for schools. I wouldn't say that because, somebody that may be interested in Cambridge may not necessarily be interested in Culinary Institute of Michigan. So what I was just about to tell you would not work here, right? It will work on, you know, I'm not going to confuse you, right? I'll talk about it later. But for here, for instance, like I said, I put them all, bundled them all together because they have small audiences, and I didn't want to run or set up campaigns just for 3,000 people, right? So this is what I used. And if you wanted to narrow it down, if I scroll up a little bit more, because I want to show you how many people, when I pulled on the schools that I personally used, I came up with 440,000 people. Now, if you wanted to target just men, it would be 150, if you pick these specific schools, right? Or if you want to zero in on women, just target specifically women. For my audience that I targeted, it was 280,000, right? So again, you could play around, once you start analyzing your data after the ads start running, you want to look at the age, and maybe you want to adjust the age. Now, when I say adjust the age, start a new campaign and set it up under that age. But I don't want to go too much into detail, but I just wanted to show you a campaign that worked for me. Well, I had several. Like I said, I had probably like 2 or 3 campaigns that I was running around Mother's Day and Father's Day. And this was the target audience that I used. Now, you can use, if there's another interest, related to chefs that chefs would only be interested in, then you could go for, maybe there's clubs, maybe there's associations for chefs, like say, for instance, for teachers, I think there's a bunch of teacher association. So if you were looking to target teachers, like, again, I like teachers, but that does not necessarily mean that I want to purchase something from a teacher, right? But again, this is what I used in my campaigns, not to say that, other styles of doing target audience doesn't work, because other ways of targeting does work, because I've used it before, but this is one of the ones that I use that work, just concentrating specifically on schools. And I think that's mainly it that I wanted to show you about, just one of the ways that works. So let me go back to me. Let's stop sharing for a moment and see if it'll switch back to me. All right. So I hope that helped you out. And again, I keep emphasizing that this is not the only way. This is what worked for me in a print-on-demand products that I had, and for chefs around Mother's Day and Father's Day. So I just wanted to show you that. I wanted to show you there's different ways to target, understand, test, and see what works best for you. If you haven't used that before, try it out and see what your results are. Like I said, a lot of people just use broad targeting, and that's fine, because I've used it before. But when I first started on print and demand, that's what I was taught, and it worked. It worked. And I like using it from time to time. So I hope that helped you out. And again, what I do want to use, because this is probably a good one, is nurses, right? Nurses is another area where you may want to, target their associations, because I love nurses. They're very helpful. But at the same time, I personally probably wouldn't buy something that was for a nurse. So if you target nurses, say their associations that they're a part of clubs, or just things that they are specific to nurses, once you do your research, then you have a better audience to target, so try it both. Try this way, and then try Broadway, and I'll probably do a video on broad, if I don't have one already. I'll probably do one. It depends. But I think everyone knows what broad targeting is. Just wanted to show you something a little different, all right? And I hope that you have a wonderful evening. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I believe I have contact information in the post around this video, all right? So have a great evening. All right, peace.